Hi, I'm Lynette and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you a tutorial of this look right here using the Colourpop It's My Pleasure palette. Now today was my first time using this palette and this is what it looked like. So pretty. Ooh, so pretty. And they're calling this, or other people have been calling this, their purple palette. And it's definitely got a couple of purples in it, like here and these two right here, but the rest of them are more like pinky plum shades, so I don't know if I would call this the purple palette, but it does have some beautiful shadows in it. There's a combination of satins and mattes and toppers and like glittery topper shades and metallic shimmer shades. And the last tutorial I did, I used the Colourpop Ooh La La palette and ended up using all the shadows in that palette. Didn't do that this time, thankfully. But this is the look I created. Now, my thoughts on this palette after using it just for the first time today. The mattes worked very nicely. This shade right here, Kitten Fish, very pretty, light pink shade. I had to build that up, but you know, it does show up on my skin after I was able to build it up, and it shows up on my skin. And it didn't have a lot of kick up. Colourpop shadows, in my experience, often have a lot of kick up, and this one did not. Although Fan Fiction performed more like a typical Colourpop shadow because it did have a lot of kick up in the pan when I put my brush in it. But good pigmentation, and it blended out nicely. And then there's a couple of what I would consider topper shades. This Earth Shine, which is really beautiful. All of the shadows are really pretty. Earth Shine, which is really beautiful, which is what I put on my inner corner and on the inner part of my eyelid. And then Mr. Sandman, very pretty, but you really need to, I didn't use Mr. Sandman, but Earthshine, you really need to use it wet to get any real punch out of it. I did use it dry on the inner portion of the lid, and it did show up nicely, but I think to get the full impact, you need to wet it, and that's what I did when I used it in the inner corner. Do or Do, beautiful eyeshadow. Now, I guess my only pet peeve with these metallic shades, this Bare Minimum and Chick Lit, is that they're really soft to the point of crumbly. Like you put your brush in it and lots of fallout and very crumbly. Very pigmented though. As you'll see, Bare Minimum I put on the lid dry and it was beautiful. Chick Lit, it needed some help. I needed to wet it to put it on my outer V. I've been having a lot of problems lately with palettes, a host of different palettes that I've used, putting shadows on my outer V area after I've put on concealer and possibly set it with a couple of eyeshadows or used a couple of eyeshadows first. So I did have to wet that, and once I did, I was able to get good pigmentation and adherence out of it. Just thought I should note that. But I don't know if you'll be able to see Bare Minimum though. Like I used it for the first time today. I swatched it a couple of times before today, and it's already got a serious indentation in the pan because the shadows are so soft. Do or Do seems like it's pressed a little more firmer in the pan, so not as soft and crumbly as those other two, but so that would be my only pet peeve with the eyeshadow palette. Other than that, oh, and this Pretty Cruel, which is a satin, it's a matte with shimmer in it. I don't know why they do that with like little glitter particles in it. I don't know why they keep doing that, but I didn't use Sleeper, this really matte dark plum shade here, so I don't know yet how that performs, but of course the plan is to continue using it. And if you'd like, you know, let me know in the comments below if you'd like me to come back and give you reviews, full reviews on either one of these palettes. So in the meantime, if you would like to see how I created this look today using the Colourpop It's My Pleasure palette, then keep on watching. Here I'm just blending out the Colourpop No Filter Concealer in the color Deep Tan all over my lid. Now I'm going to take Kitten Fish with my NYX number 16 blending brush, and I'm going to put that high above the crease as well as in the crease. And I had to go back into this palette multiple times to build up this shade so that it would show up on my skin. I don't think it's because it's not a pigmented eyeshadow. I think it's because it's a very light eyeshadow shade, and so once I built it up, you can see it, and it blended out nicely, but it was very light. Now I'm taking Fan Fiction on a Delium Tools number 776 blending brush, and I decided to use tapping motions. After using that first shade that was so light, I wasn't sure how pigmented this one was going to be, but it is more pigmented. It's a deeper shade, and so I tapped it into the crease, and now I'm going to use the same little circular motions on the outer V area and back and forth motions in the crease to blend this eyeshadow out, just a little bit below that Kitten Fish color. And now going back in with that original brush to make sure these two shadows blend seamlessly together. Now taking Chick Lit on a Sonia Kashuk blending brush, and I am trying to stamp that onto my outer V area and not having the best success. And I don't know if it was the brush or what. Or once again, I had layered eyeshadows on the outer V already. I don't know, but it was not adhering right there, especially in that outer corner right there. So this wasn't working. So I decided to change courses and wet my brush using my Mario Badescu spray. And I changed my brush to my tried and true Real Techniques shader brush. And then things improved. And I'm still using the same motions. I'm patting it into the outer V area, and then I am swiping it across into the crease. And I didn't have any difficulty with it using these techniques and using the brush wet. And still just building up the color and trying not to bring it too high up into the crease. And blending it out like 3/4 of the way across and into the crease. And then going back in with that shade prior to, and once again blending out those edges. Anytime you put down a color, I like to go in and go over that blend with the previous shadow so that the two blend seamlessly together. And now I'm going in with Bare Minimum, and I meant to use Do or Dough, but I messed up. And I'm applying this dry with my Sigma E55 brush. And as you can see, I got some good pigmentation. I'm sure it would have been much greater impact if I had wet the brush, but using it dry, I thought it showed up very well. And now I'm going in with Earth Shine and just on the other side of that brush. And I'm using this dry as well. Excuse me for my hoarse voice. I always get hoarse when I'm doing voiceovers for some reason. And I'm putting this on that inner third. Well, it will be more like the inner half because I want to blend it into that Bare Minimum shade. And now I'm just taking a wet wipe and cleaning up the fallout, of which I had a little bit, but that's not unusual with Colourpop eyeshadows. And then because I really wanted to use that Do or Dough shade, I decided to go in with my Makeup Geek foiled brush. I'm using this shadow dry as well, and I'm just tapping it in between those two shades and on top of those two shades. And you can't really see too much of a color. It's a beautiful shade. You can't really see it that much, but it did add a little more shine and sparkle to the lid area. Now I'm taking Chick Lit on a Makeup Geek pencil brush, but of course, and did I start with it wet? I mean dry, and then I wet the brush, and as you can see, I'm getting a lot more pigmentation and it's gliding on a lot easier. And I'm going to take that about 3/4 of the way across the lower lash line. Then I went back in with Fan Fiction. I didn't really need to do this. I had to blend it. I had to build it up quite a bit to get it to show up. And I'm just going to go over most of it with my inner corner highlight. So I could have really skipped this part. Now I'm going in with the LA Girl Shockwave Neon Eyeliner in the color Vivid. And I was disappointed. I expected this to be more vivid and more neon and much brighter. Now I'm going back in with Earth Shine on that pencil brush, and I wet the shadow this time and got a much more impact. It's so pretty used wet. And I'm sorry, I forgot to show you a close-up of the completed eye look, but everything I use will be listed down below. And that is the finished look. I did finish it off with my matte Retro MAC liquid lipstick in the shade Atomized. I will be doing looks, or at least doing a look, using these palettes in conjunction with one another. So if you'd like to see that, if you'd like for me to film it and show you that tutorial, then let me know in the comments below. Do you have these palettes? And do you have a preference? Which one you like better? I'm reserving my judgment because I've only used each of them once, so the jury's still out. If you liked this tutorial, then please go ahead and hit the like button and consider subscribing, because I do tutorials along with makeup swatches, hauls, and reviews here on my channel every Saturday. I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope to see you again next week. Until then, bye-bye.